Anaditvat Nirgunatvat Parama Atma Ayam Avyayaha Sharirastaha Api Kaunteya Nakaroti Nalipyate. This knowledge, to those who are accustomed to studying Bhagavad Gita as it is, appears to be very basic. But for persons who are not accustomed to this knowledge, it's revelationary. We're distributing these books to anyone who will take them. People are going on with their material life, and suddenly somehow they get one of these books and get this information. I'm eternal. I don't really have anything to do with this present situation I'm in at all. So this knowledge gives us a completely different perspective on everything. I don't know if it comes through in Russian. Srila Prabhupada has written very beautifully, very poetically, the vision of eternity. Anaditvat, from being eternal, from being without beginning. So by seeing that I have nothing really to do with this world, one doesn't really act within it. By having the vision that I don't belong to this material world, one does not actually act within it. Actually, even if one doesn't have this vision, one doesn't actually act within the material world. Because, as is being pointed out in Bhagavad Gita, we don't have any real relationship with this material world. But due to identifying with this material world, we suffer and sometimes so-called enjoy various situations in this material world. So Krishna is advising us to develop a vision of eternity. Due to identifying with the body, we think that everything in relationship to this body is very important. And my self-interest lies in cultivating that which is favorable for the material body and rejecting that which is unfavorable for its comfort, development, maintenance and sense gratification. We take it very seriously, whatever situation I'm in. My health, my bank balance, my house, my car, my family, these things are all very important. But one with the vision of eternity understands that I don't have any real relationship with any of this. Jive Swarup Hoy Krishna Nityadas. I am the eternal servant of Krishna. I'm not the servant or the master or with any relationship with anything here. I'm just here for a very short time in this material body. It will be finished soon. But the human form of life is an opportunity to develop this vision of eternity and get out of this seemingly eternal bondage of material life. So one who has this vision tries to retain, one who gets this vision tries to retain it. Because it may be that one will have some moment of revelation, I am eternal, but then just sink back into ordinary materialistic consciousness in which we're attached to everything around us. Here, vision, the vision of eternity, vision is used in the sense not of physical sight but of philosophical perspective. In English, there's the word is given, a synonym for opinion is view, which literally means how we see. What do you see? It's not just physically seeing, but it's our interpretation of that. For instance, one person might see a half-empty glass of milk, And the other person seeing exactly the same thing sees a half full glass of milk. There's no difference, but there's a difference of perspective, difference of interpretation. So those with the vision of eternity, they see that smaran nityam anityatvam. They always remember that everything here is temporary. That way they don't get too much disturbed by the turbulence of this material world. Just like there may be fear of war or actual war, we may be caught in that.
Yeah, in a sense.
Well, someone might drop a bomb or they might start bombing Naberezhny Chelni.
In the war.
Yeah. Bombs in Naberezhny Chelni. Well, someone's laughing. They think, just a joke. But you never know. Could happen. So it's horrible. You're walking along and all of a sudden there's a big explosion and your arm is blown off and then people around you are all dead. But those with the vision of eternity see even such horrible things as simply the interaction of the modes of material nature. Prabhupada was in Calcutta during the Second World War when it was bombed, purportedly by the Japanese, maybe by someone else. So he told that, who else? By Germany, you're saying? Japanese. No, well, it was suspected that maybe the British themselves did it. Because the bombs only fell on the Indian area. The idea was that maybe they wanted to, get the Indian people fired up to fight against. They weren't so fired up. They think, what's the difference? The British rule us or the Japanese rule us? What's the difference? You never know with these politicians what's going on. Anyway, Prabhupada described that one time the bombing started, he was just about to start honoring prasadam. They were calling, come quickly to the bomb shelter. Prabhupada said, I'll take prasad first. He said the bombs were coming. Prabhupada was expert in imitating various noises. Prabhupada said, I saw the bombs, that's also Krishna. In another form. Rake Krishna Mareke. If Krishna wants to protect us, who can kill us? That's advanced. And it's not everyone who you start dropping bombs all around and they say, well, let me just finish my meal and then I'll go to the bomb shelter. That is the vision of eternity. That, anyway, I don't belong in this body anyway, so if I leave earlier than expected, what difference does it make? One who has that vision, they can do anything for Krishna because they're not afraid. They become abhayam. Not for nothing that Prabhupada was given the name Abhay Charan, one who is fearless at the lotus feet of Krishna. One who has this vision, they don't become disturbed if they lose something because they think, well, anyway, it doesn't belong to me anyway. And they don't become elated if they gain something because they think, it's not really mine anyway. I came to this world empty-handed. I came in this body with empty-handed and I have to leave like that also. So this doesn't mean that one should be neglectful in ordinary dealings. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada says, devotees should not be neglectful in ordinary dealing. You may think, well, I don't belong to this world, so I don't have to pay any taxes, I don't have to pay when I go on the bus, and I don't have to bother looking when I cross to the road to see if any vehicle's coming. It doesn't matter, nothing matters. One can do that if one is always like that. Not that you don't bother doing this, anyway, do one thing at a time. It's not that, well, I won't bother with any responsibility, but I'll just tune into the world a little bit at meal times. At meal times, I'll just have a little bit of ordinary consciousness at meal times. In other words, you neglect everything else, but you don't neglect to fill the belly regularly. It might seem that someone like Vangshidas Babaji Maharaj is irresponsible. He had a little cottage, but he went out, he never locked the door, and people used to steal whatever little things he had in there. And he would blame Gaur-Nitai. I left you in charge here and you let the thieves come. What are you doing? You're just irresponsible. All you do is play all day and dance all day. I have to go out and bake some food for you to eat. When are you going to grow up? So it might seem that Vangshidas was himself irresponsible. But no one blamed him like that because he was actually a Paramahamsa. He didn't eat or sleep or practically nothing. So people appreciated his level of spiritual advancement. But for persons who are not on that very high level, then they have material responsibilities also. They may have the vision of eternity, but that has to be gradually cultivated. So as long as one is within this material world, one should generally act in a way that does not disturb one's interaction with other persons. To cultivate the vision of eternity, one requires to perform sadhana. So all other activities that a transcendentalist performs are to facilitate his sadhana, spiritual sadhana. Brushing the teeth, eating, sleeping, even for a householder, working, earning money, looking after the family. So all these things are not to be neglected. You may say, well, sometimes the family affairs, it's a disturbance to the sadhana. That may be. It may be that to make the arrangements by which we can engage in spiritual activities, sometimes the spiritual activities themselves become infringed on by the material responsibilities. So one may try to make some adjustment to better facilitate his spiritual advancement. Or one may adjust to the situation, realizing that, I'm realizing one's own level, that I'm not fully prepared to enter into full spiritual life. I have material responsibilities, I have material attachments. These require to be discharged also. It can be very complex. Often people ask me, what is the balance between material activities and spiritual activities? So my reply is the balance should be 100% spiritual activities and 0 material activities. But if, like almost everyone else in this world, we are not ready for that, then the material activities we should conduct clearly for the sake of facilitating our spiritual activities. If we actually do that, then our material activities, they become secondary spiritual activities. In this way, even brushing our teeth and sleeping can become devotional service. For those who have become enlivened by hearing that sleeping can also be devotional service, it requires qualifying, some more explanation. Many devotees practice this form of devotional service during the Srimad Bhagavatam class. But it becomes a secondary form of devotional service if it is undertaken simply to refresh the bodies and minds so that they may be better engaged in Krishna's service. One should dedicate one's life to Krishna's service. And then everything else is done simply either directly in Krishna's service or to facilitate that. So for instance, on the topic of brushing teeth, one may brush one's teeth to maintain dental hygiene. But a devotee is not very interested in having cosmetic dentistry. That means they you have a tooth sticking out and they put it back in shape and they make it look very nice. It's a big business in the Western world.
Put some wire
Yeah, put the wire to
to make your teeth even.
yeah, that's one thing. There's so many things. No word. In Russia you still go around with metal teeth. Like, what's it called? That Baba Yaga or something? Is it?
Yeah.
That witch? I think she had iron teeth, it's described.
No.
She
has no teeth.
No teeth. Oh.
Maybe one or two.
One of the witches from somewhere, maybe from Iceland, they had metal teeth. On the other hand, they might go for cosmetic dentistry. If they, for instance, if they have to appear on TV and mix with celebrities who all have had their teeth cosmetically adjusted, they might do. Everything is based on what will satisfy Krishna. What is the best for satisfying Krishna? Exactly how to act in this world in the best way for satisfying Krishna may not always be very clear. Even a great devotee like Arjuna was bewildered about how to act in the best possible manner. We say that Arjuna was bewildered and in ignorance. But his bewilderment and his ignorance was not that he didn't want to serve Krishna or that he wanted to become sinful. It wasn't that he wanted to act in a pious manner. He was the most noble person. He wanted to act for the benefit of others. But he was bewildered because he was ignorant of how to do so. It seemed to him clear, axiomatic, that Krishna wouldn't want me to attack my gurus. Krishna cannot want that Drona and Bhishma are killed. It seemed like that to Arjuna. But Krishna chastised him, you fool. So it may seem to us in some situation, this is the best way to serve Krishna. But we should not rely on our own vision or our own understanding. Even if one is advanced in Shastric understanding, everyone has to not just act independently. One should take guidance from others. That's why one has guru and gurus. So even Prabhupada's disciples, who themselves may be guiding others, but they may take advice from their god siblings. When we're talking about a vision of eternity, we're talking of something so vast that we can hardly imagine what it means. It's very difficult for us to even conceive of what eternity means. Can you imagine what it was like to be here 100 years ago? What was here 100 years ago, where we're sitting now? Probably forest. Probably?
A village.
It was a village, yeah. Not here. That would be a little distance. Some village and all forest all around. Probably whoever was living here, they'd never gone to Moscow. They might have heard of it. Probably not even to Kazan. It seems difficult to imagine, doesn't it? No phones. No postal service. Maybe there was 100 years ago. Oh, not here. Not in Aborigine. So can we imagine what it was like 1,000 years ago? What if imagine someone came and touched you on the head and gave you the benediction, you're going to live for 1,000 years. Can you imagine what it's like to live for 1,000 years? You can. 10,000 years? 100,000 years? 1,000,000 years? It's a hiccup for Lord Brahma. Hiccup? Hiccup means there's maybe some long Latin word in the dictionary, in the medical dictionary, but I don't know it. Burp, That's something else. No, it's different. Belching is the same as burping. It's not hiccuping. You can say burp if you like. What's that? An hour hiccup, that's like the lifetime of some bug. While we were just discussing how to translate hiccup, some bug could have got born, had grandchildren and died. So we are eternal. We should maintain consciousness on two levels. What am I doing here in this world now? And what is my eternal situation? The balance is to understand the relative importance of these two. Yeah, the importance of these two. Our material duties, they are not to be given up. As long as we are not fixed on the transcendental platform, those material duties are important. That's the essence of the advice that Krishna gave to Arjuna, that one should cultivate the transcendental, but that is not done by giving up the material. On the other hand, just cultivating the material doesn't bring us to the spiritual platform. There must be in devotee's life, transcendentalist life, there must be a clear decision, sankalpa. What's clear? Decision. Okay, to clear decision to cultivate the spiritual. And the material side, that should be maintained, because as long as we have material attachments, if we attempt to artificially give them up, they will come back on us in an even more strong way. Just like the man who just gives up his family when he's not prepared himself. Now this is all Maya. So, but he underestimates his material attachments, and thus he finds himself drawn to those very attachments which he supposedly gave up, or otherwise he makes new attachments, which is worse. He should have stayed with the old ones and purified them. So steadiness in one's position, that is advised. To transcend one's material position, one is advised to first become steady in it, and then proceed forward step by step. If one has to make a step forward, this step, or the foot which remains behind, that has to be very solidly placed, otherwise he'll fall over, slip. So a transcendentalist is advised to simultaneously perform material duties and at the same time cultivate knowledge of their ultimate worthlessness. It's not very easy to do, but it is possible by the grace of Krishna. The best transcendental path is that of Krishna consciousness, by which one not only cultivates theoretically knowledge that I am the servant of Krishna, but one is given the opportunity to directly engage in the service of Krishna, which awakens a taste that this is so much better than anything material life has to offer. But one can become steady in one's cultivation of Krishna consciousness when one cultivates the knowledge of why we are doing what we are doing. Just yesterday or the day before, I was reading one letter from Srila Prabhupada. He was writing, why all this restlessness? You want to go from Europe to India and India to Europe. So just read my books 1 hour every day, and then this restlessness will go away. It's all caused because you're not fixed on the spiritual platform. By reading Prabhupada's books regularly, we get the vision of eternity. that I don't belong here, but I'm here, I have the opportunity to serve Krishna. Then automatically everything else follows. Automatically all the other symptoms of advanced devotional service develop in one who clearly sees this point, that I'm here to serve Krishna. He doesn't waste time, because he knows that this body is given by Krishna, it belongs to Krishna, I must use it for serving Krishna. He's tolerant of various material situations. He doesn't cultivate anything else but how to serve Krishna better and better. So this is the vision of eternity that we get from studying Srila Prabhupada's books. It's a great boon to people who are in the vision of temporality to get Prabhupada's books. It is a great boon to the ignorant people of the world to give them these books by which they can get knowledge of their eternal relationship with Krishna. So yesterday, what was the total count of the books distributed yesterday?
180 books.
180 books, mostly on the Harinam, was it? Mostly on the Harinam. No, but some were distributed here also. Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. 180 on the Harinam only. The more we do Harinam, festivals, prasad distribution, book distribution, the better it gets. People will appreciate more and more. The funny thing is that all over the world we see when it's very difficult to preach that we have so many dedicated preachers. And when the atmosphere becomes relaxed, then the devotees also relax. So, we could go again today.
Haribol!
You don't have any more books, huh? You have more books. Okay. Just you forgot to bring them. Or yesterday you didn't think there'd be so much sale. Okay, so please go. Yeah, I'll go out for a short time because who else is there left for darshan? There's a whole bunch of names there. Yeah, regarding darshans, whoever's staying here on Saturday morning, they could do them. Otherwise, tomorrow there won't be much, I guess. Well, you could go on. So, okay, so let's finish there. Yep.